Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Entangled. And unlike kind of many of the previous thumbnails that you can see here, whenever I sort of hear the word entangled, for some reason I end up thinking of particles, as in entangled particles. Hence the very sci-fi looking scene with particles are entangled, futuristic cities in the background, and something quite unusual in terms of style compared to the other thumbnails. Just one quick funny story before we get onto the puzzle. So I was actually recording, well, I created the artwork for one of Sandra and Nala's actual puzzles. And as soon as I sort of finished the artwork, I started to look at the puzzle and I realized, well, it's already been featured on CTC because it's been played 9,000 times. So I thought, okay, I've already sort of started. I'll maybe do kind of like a repeat of it as an extra, as a bonus puzzle. Maybe put it up on Patreon. But one thing that I've been sort of personally aiming to do is have just a short piece of music to replace, to actually be bespoke for each puzzle that I put on Patreon. Just something extra for me predominantly, because I do enjoy trying to write a piece of music, and it's really only 10 seconds long. I should be able to manage that. After finishing playing that music, I then realized that it probably wasn't original. It actually sounded a lot like the Great British Bake Off. And yeah, I kind of scrapped the whole thing, thinking, yeah, this is just not meant to be. It's already been recorded. It's, repeat piece of music. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle. Hopefully something that will sort of freshen my mind a bit, and you guys will get to enjoy it as well. Let's take a look at Entangled. So, Entangled by Black Doom. Sounds ominous. The puzzle itself, the author gave it a 3-star difficulty rating. However, the community downgraded it all the way down to 1. So, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what exactly we're signing up for. I think it's going to be a 1-star difficulty rated, in which case I will post it for a weekday puzzle. If it feels a lot more difficult, I'll probably save it for a weekend puzzle and come back to it then. But relatively straightforward set of rules. So normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Then we have the entangled arrows and thermos. So arrows, digits along an arrow must sum to the number in the attached circle. So for example, these 4 cells on this arrow will come up to a sum that must be added inside the circle. That's true for all the arrows and circles. Then thermometer rules. Digits must increase along the thermometer starting from the bulb end. That's the bulb end of the thermometer. If you place something like a 4 in here, the next digit along will have to be 5 or greater. What I cannot do is place 4, 5 and go all the way back down to 2. That doesn't work. The digits do not have to be continuous, so you can skip digits. As long as they're increasing from the bulb end, you're absolutely fine. Obviously, with the sums here, you could do something like 1, 2, 3 with a 1. That would come up to 6 plus 7. Sorry, plus 1 for a 7. So that's all the rules we have today for Entangled. I'm not entirely sure I get it yet, but fingers crossed I'll figure it out soon enough. If you want to play along, untangle these arrows and thermos. Link will be in the description down below as usual. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So there's definitely a 1 on this arrow. Essentially, we've got here, if we don't have a 1, this is 2, 3, 4, which would be a 9. Even if I place the minimum digit in here, which is a 1, I'll get to 10, which is clearly impossible to write in a single cell. So we need a relatively low sum, obviously because this is a minimum of 1. I'm pretty sure there's only 1 or 2. The reason I say that is if the minimum in here is 1, 2, 3, that's 6. If I try and put a 4 in here, given I can't have a 3, that's too big. That is clearly going to be 10 and higher. So 6, 7 or 8. So I think my options in here are 7, 8, 9. This is 1, 2. Now, I feel like there's a load more options than 1, 2, 3, obviously. If my maximum is 9 and this is 1, my maximum in here is 8, which unfortunately can include 1, 2, 5. So it's really 1, 2, 5, 3, or 4. Not great. What I am thinking about, though, is the rest of column 3. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, where does 9 go? And my options are midway up the thermometer, or even at the beginning, nonsense. On an arrow that is multiple cells, also nonsense, and come up with a total that is 9 or less. And clearly, we just established it's not one of these options. So 9 is definitely up here. And I'm going to say almost certainly the case for 8. 8 down here doesn't work. That would require 9 and then 10. 8 on here, even if I put a double 1, that's still a 10. So that's 8. That gives me a 7. That gives me a 1. That gives me a 1, 2, 3. That can't be a 7 anymore. So if I think about the rest of column 6 for a second, it is 4, 5, 6, 7. Except that can't be a 7. And actually notice we've got 1, 2, 3 in here. So this is actually fixed because the maximum here is 6. That's 4, that's 5, that's 6. Now these are now 6. Clearly for this to actually work out, these numbers have to be increasing. So clearly that can't be the 7, that can't be the 4. I actually think I can make a 7 work on here, can't I? No, because it would require a double 1, and a 1 here doesn't work because it clashes with classic Sudoku. So no 7 there. That's a 4, 5 pair. That is a 7. That forces the rest of this Thermo 8 and 9. Okay, we're off to an excellent start, and I can somewhat appreciate why people are saying it's not a 3-star difficulty. You can see the 2 7s there. That gives me another 7 here. 1, 2, 3. Well, we need to just complete this, which is 6 and 8. What else can I complete? The 3, 4. No, I mean, I just know that there is a 3 in here. And I know that there is 9, 1, and that's it. 1 and 9. And then the floating digits are the 2 and 6. Oh no, they're not. They're not. 3, 6, because of that 6, 8 pair. And this is 1, 2, 9. Now, that's not going to be 1 or 2. If you've got 2 subsets already that are adding up to way more than either of them, even if I take the minimum 3 and 4, that's 7. This is a 9. Neither of these are 9. I'm kind of forced to take some of the minimums, aren't I? 6 certainly doesn't work. 6 and 4 is already at 10. So that's 3, that's 6. Now, 3, 4, and 5, both options work. If it's 3, 4, that's a 2 to add up to 9. If it's 3, 5, that's a 1 to add up to 9. That's a 1, 2 pair, which will hopefully be very helpful for the rest of row 7 here. We may as well complete box 1, or at least pencil mark it. We certainly can write in this digit it is a 5. These are 2 and 4. And I think we can start thinking about other entangled arrows and thermos. So these you can see again. Ooh, this is 1, 2, 6. And I'm just looking at the rest of the row. 4, 5, and a 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 here doesn't work. It breaks this cell. So I need a digit that is not 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. It is a 6. You add a 6 on here. You need 1 and 2 to get to a maximum that is allowed in a single cell, which is the 9. That's a 3. Neither of these are a 3 anymore. Not a 1. Just thinking about the rest of that entangled thermo just to see, can I actually place any digits? I mean, I can do a lot of pencil marking. I just don't know if I want to do that. Something that's useful, though, is that this entire thermometer cannot have a 9. Which means there's no way I can put an 8 on here. like 8 on there at least. So the 8 is definitely on this side, in row, as in this side of row 3. And with the 8 placed, I mean, it's probably worthwhile pencil marking at this point because I've only got 1 degree of freedom, as in 1 unknown digit. So I can probably do something like 2, 3, 4. And the only remaining option that I have is a 5. So 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and 5. Now I don't know what joins the 8 in here from 2, 3, 4, 5, but that is complete. I don't think there's any other option in here. So moving on, 4, 5 needs to be a minimum of 5, sorry, minimum of 6, which is not available. This is 7, this is 7, 8. Again, no 9 on this thermometer means it is 8, it is 7, that is fixed. Given I have to have a digit larger than 5 and 6 is not available. So these are now, I'm going to say 8 and 9, completing row 4. I'm sort of tempted to think, I mean, yeah, may as well carry on with, I've been sort of doing classic Sudoku simultaneously, which is not normally my style, but I'm trying to get into that habit. I don't think there's other obvious things. I mean, we kind of need to make a bit more progress really before we can complete any. So I am thinking about the last Entangled set. And it doesn't feel very useful. Yeah, it really doesn't. 9, you can see, is in here, just classic Sudoku, removing all of these as options. 9 is in there. So this is not 7, 8, or 9. The thing is, it can be 6. You know, this cell could actually be quite large. It's not an 8, but it could be 7, it could be 9. So I actually have plenty of options here. I'm not sure how useful this is. And the Thermo is only 5 cells long, so not very useful. Can I see anything else that the constructor intended? Sorry, I'm just trying to take it all in. And I'm just sort of looking at the space for any classic Sudokus or anything like that would help narrow down my options. And you know, you get really, you know, part of the language choice, but very naff things like there's a 7 in here, but that's really not that useful. I mean, I can limit the 7 to here, because I can't place the 7 on the Thermo, because I would need something that is 8 or 9, greater than the 7, and neither is available based on my pencil marking. Well, and here. So 7 doesn't go on the Thermo, nor 8, nor 9. This is surprisingly limited. If I put that this is a maximum of 6, it's not even that, because 6, 7, 8, 9, that entire thermometer is forced. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 and 2, that's a 6. Neither of these are a 6. That 3 gives me a 4, gives me a 5. That 2, 3 is still unknown, but it does give me a 2, 3, 8 in here. Now is way more restricted than it may have originally come across. Right, what can I do with all of this newfound information then? What is this cell? So we established it's not 4, 5, or 3. And, you know, 2 is ludicrous because that would be a double 1. So we know it is 6, 7, or 9, because it's not 8, and it has to be bigger than all of these. Now, what do I actually have in terms of options? So I can only use one of 1 and 2. And this cell is actually quite large already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. It's fixed. It has to be a 5. Because my options were, I mean, it's not even, there is no options. It is a naked single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and of course 9. So that is just straight up 5, meaning my options are 1, 2, and 4. And it's not a 4, therefore it's not a 9. So this is 6 or 7. That's a 1, 2 pair. This is probably fairly restricted now, isn't it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, another naked single, that's 9. These, well, this has to be a 4, can't be placed there. That's got to be a 3. And yeah, I guess this is feeling like we're on the home stretch soon. So there's another 1, 2 in here with a 3, definite 3. How do we determine some of these? I'm not entirely sure. The 1, 2 pair hasn't exactly helped. So we have a second 4, 5, a second 6, 7, and a 9, which really can be in a lot of places. The 4, 5 is not this cell. So this is 6, 7, or 9. This is not 9 or 7. It is 4, 5, or 6. Don't know if I'm really gaining much by pencil marking all of these. So just going to sort of, well, how about Sudoku, Sleuth? Let's do some of that. That's 2 and 3. That's got to be a 4. That's got to be a 5. No more 4s in here. This is 5, 6, 7, 9. This, unfortunately, can be all of them. 1s. Actually, this 2 doesn't help. Sort of, kind of. May as well complete column 7. These are, well, there's an 8 that can only go up there, and a 7 because of this 8. May as well think about the rest of this box for a second. 3 is actually placed. We're actually given a digit, you know, very fresh. 1 and 2 have to be on this side, and this is 6 to complete the box. Doesn't give me any more digits here, but I imagine, yeah, not entirely. That 6 removes a 6 from down there. There's a second 7, 9, and we need an 8. And the 7, 9 is not on this cell. So that's 7, 9, that's an 8. I need a second 5, 6, which is again not here. With a 4. Second 7, 9, plus 3, and 8. There's quite a few options here. I'm not sure this is it. A second 5, 6 with 1 and 4. Loads of options again. I mean, I'm not seeing anything I've missed necessarily. It's not to say I haven't, and perhaps some of you are shouting something at your screen right now, but I feel like I'm just going to have to just pencil mark my way out of this, which is a bit of a shame. Doesn't feel right given how the rest of the puzzle has unfolded. What about this column? So if I think about what we're missing from this column, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 8 and 9. 8 is not up here. 8 is there. 9 can be one of... No, 9 can only be in this cell. And then we have a 1, 2, 3, and a 6, 7. So my options include a 1, 2 up here with a 7. This is not 2 or 3 or 7. This is actually quite restricted. This is 1 or 6. It's looking a bit better. Doesn't help me with my 5, 6. Yeah, there's only one place for 3, isn't there? Not 3, not 3, not 3, not 3. Okay. Yeah, that helps. 8, 2, 8, 9. That 2, yeah, that's not a 1-3 pair. That's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 2, 1, 2, 1, 6, 7, okay. Now that 2 and a 5 gives me a 7 in here, which is very helpful. That's 9, that's 7. That's not 7 or 9. It's 5 or 6. That 7 gives me back a 1 up the top. 2, 1, 4, 2. Right. Glad I didn't pencil mark the entire grid just trying to find this. That is way better. 1, 3, 6, 7. They're staying, but yeah, we've got this. So we need 1 and 4 in here. Nope. Can't resolve them yet. We need 3 and 9. We can resolve this. 9, 9, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4. We need 6 and 7, obviously, for these. But we also need 5, which can only be in here. Is this? That's a 7, that's a 6, that's a 7, that's a 6. And then finally for the finish, that's a 4. Lovely puzzle, Black Doom. I certainly agree with the 1-star difficulty rating. I'm not sure it is 3 stars as originally posted. And like, it's quite a clever idea, just seeing how they entangle with one another and just the substantial amount of restrictions that they're creating on one another and tension. And I mean, we've been gifted a digit. We haven't had one of these in a long time. So, hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle. It was a reasonably good solve. There wasn't a lot of Sudoku blindness that struck. And see you back for the next video. Bye-bye for now.